Welcome back to Cardboard Kitchen, guys. I don't know how long this one's going to be today. I'm just going to talk about a couple of things. I know a lot of people have been doing a lot of video coverage of the recent update to the Commander ban list. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about my opinion on that today. It's kind of just all it's really going to be. If you're new here, this is Cardboard Kitchen, where I talk about my opinions based on my 25 years of experience playing Magic the Gathering. Specifically, I cover the Commander format topic. I try to talk about things and discuss things that are for all players of all play levels, whether you've just started or you've been playing the game for as long as I have, if not longer, maybe, who knows. It is a little stuffy in here at the moment, so I do apologize. I am breathing a little heavy due to the stuffiness. It also doesn't help that where I'm at, we're under a flash flood warning. Hooray! That being said, if you're not subscribed, please do so. It's the easiest way for you to support me and the channel, as well as let me know what kind of content you obviously want me to keep putting out. Give a thumbs up on those videos that you enjoy watching, the liked videos, like some videos. Hit the notification bell if you do subscribe in order to be notified whenever I upload more videos. I don't have a set schedule for uploading these because my work schedule is not a set work schedule, so I don't have dedicated times to do these videos and everything. Still working on a Patreon. I have a Discord, but it's not fully set up. I'm still trying to get in touch with some people about trying to be mods. Just because where I work, I can't be on my phone all the time. Hooray. Otherwise, obviously share the videos with other friends that you have that play the game. Because if you're watching my videos, they might be interested in my videos too. Who knows? Whatever the case is. So we're just going to jump into it. So the recent bans for the Commander format were... Personally, I called one of them months ago when Modern Horizons 3 came out. I made another video called Nadu Simic Voodoo. Go watch that video if you haven't. I talk about my opinions about that card in that video, and I basically explain within that video to, if you have it and you want to play it while you can, because it will get banned. It did see a ban in Modern not too long ago, like a month or so ago, I think. I don't know if it's seen any other bans recently. I haven't been able to keep up that much. But yeah, Nadu Winged Wisdom got banned in Commander. I called it. I knew it would. I looked at the card and I was like, well, I really don't think it's that strong. And then I saw one person build a deck and play it, and I was just like, oh, I clearly did not interpret the wording on that card correctly. That's a whole lot stronger than I initially thought it was. Other cards that got banned, Mana Crypts. For everyone who decided to go out and spend money on Mana Crypts, personally, I've been trying for 6 months to save up to get money for a Mana Crypt. I'm kind of glad I haven't managed to do that yet. Mana Crypt got banned. Now, for those of you who have extra Mana Crypts, probably going to be difficult to get rid of them because they don't see a ton of play much of anywhere. Canadian Highlander, I want to say Legacy? Vintage? I don't know. They might not be good enough for those formats. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think, the downside on Mana Crypt is that you have to flip a coin at the start of your turn, and you have to call the flip. If you call the flip incorrectly, you take a lightning bolt's worth of damage. In Commander, lightning bolt isn't a whole lot until you get to 10 or less, and then it's oh, I still don't have a way to win. There's still a stalemate at the table. I've got 3 turns max before this thing kills me. So I don't know. Maybe Mana Crypt would be okay if the downside was you were just guaranteed to take a lightning bolt's worth of damage, or a shock's worth of damage on each of your turns. You know, maybe if they did like I don't know, a functional reprint, they could make another card that functions like Mana Crypt that costs 0 mana that makes you 2 colorless, but at the beginning of your upkeep you take 2 damage. Or you lose 2 life, I guess, specifically, just so that it couldn't be prevented, because there are things that prevent you from taking non-combat damage. There are things that prevent you from taking damage on your turn. I think that if they made it so that it would... If they made essentially the same card, but with the downside of... Yes, it's still free. Yes, it makes 2 colorless mana, but it also forces you to lose 2 life at the beginning of your upkeep. Or here's another thing. Nothing interacts with anything during the untap phase. If they made functional reprints that had negative downsides so that nobody could interact with them during the untap portion of the phase. Like if it was during your untap phase, if this card becomes untapped, do this effect. I don't know. There's probably a way to word it. That's another thought for another time. I don't want to jump all over the place on this video. I want to see if I can actually stay on topic. Most of my videos I rant. I want to see if I can stay focused. So Mana Crypt is one I don't necessarily agree with as far as the bans are concerned. My wallet loves it. Those of you who have so many of them, you hate it. I know in one of the groups I was in, there was a guy that posted something about like he had 10 or 15 or whatever, and he was holding on to them until they hit like an opportune time frame to sell them and offload them. So he was specifically investing in them, and now he's lost his investment. The next card that got banned on the ban list, personally, is one I believe never should have been printed, in my personal opinion. Strong card, functional reprint, specific to the Commander format, which is great, but I don't think it should have ever been printed, and that's Jeweled Lotus. It's Black Lotus, but you can only spend the mana on your Commander, and you can only use it once unless you can get it back. I mean, it's exactly like Black Lotus with the exception of you can only spend the mana to cast your Commander. Specifically cast your Commander, not even to use any of your Commander's activated abilities. I feel like as a functional reprint, even for a specific format, it was just too strong for that format. Personally, I think it should have costed 2 mana to play it, minimum. Black Lotus is a really good, really strong card, one of the Power 9. It will probably be the eternal name of a card for years to come. Even if this game, even if Magic Gathering dies, I feel like Black Lotus would be the name, an eternal, what I would consider an eternal card name, to ever exist. Like, you know, if the game dies 30 years into the future, then 30 years beyond that, you know, somebody might be like, oh, you remember when they print, you know, people were going on about this Black Lotus and the functional reprints and all this kind of stuff, and somebody like, Black Lotus? Haven't heard that in years. Eons even. You know, whatever the case is. I personally don't feel like Jeweled Lotus should have ever been printed. How it made its way through the testing phase for that set that it initially came out in, I'm not sure. Even so, that's the thing. Even your occasional explosive starts, when you can play a 5-drop commander or a 6-drop commander 2, 3, or 4 turns earlier than normal for no real down. Like, the downside is I give up 1 card. If you were to think about it, so they have an article where they explain all this stuff, but essentially what they talked about with the Jeweled Lotus card was that playing, you know, 4 and 5-drop commanders on turns 2 or 3 had a far bigger impact on the game than somebody who had a 3-drop commander usually that could, with a black, with the Jeweled Lotus, could toss it out on turn 1. Personally, I think if you think about it a little bit differently, as far as the functionality of the card, is essentially what the card should say is discard this card and reduce your commander's casting cost by 3 generic. Or 2 generic and 1 color, or whatever the case is. There's a way to word it correctly, but essentially that's what it is. It's like, okay, cool, turn 1 land, pass. Or not even pass, maybe, yeah, pass. Turn 1 land, pass. Turn 2 land, Mana Crypt, Jeweled Lotus, play, what is it, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's a 7-drop commander on turn 2. And it has literally been effectively, granted, I only get to do it once, but it's essentially saying discard this card, cast this portion of your commander for free. Like, that's really strong. I've played other card games too, so I guess if you're watching and you're coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe, yeah, I guess Yu-Gi-Oh, and you played, and Yu-Gi-Oh was like, oh, well, you have this one-time spell card you can use, and basically it'll let you put like a power level 7 monster into play, for free. I mean, that's essentially what the equivalent would be in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is I'll play this card and get to play this other thing for free, and it counts as if it was just summoned, so I get all the summon abilities. So, personal opinion, I don't think Jeweled Lotus should have ever been printed, let alone made it to production or anything else. So, I'm happy that Jeweled Lotus is on the ban list. I knew Nadu was going to hit the ban list, which made me sad when I truly realized how strong it was. Mana Crypts, either way, like, saved me several $100s by hitting the ban list before I could buy one. Makes me sad that I couldn't get a hold of one to play with while it was around, so I didn't get to experience, like, really great starts. The last card on the ban list, which I feel like is really impactful for CEDH play, but also, like, drives players to play specific builds that use Dockside combos. It's Dockside Extortionist. I feel like there are a lot of different... there's far more possibilities than I can begin to imagine as far as the Commander format is concerned for decks that you would build, how they would be built, and so on and so forth. I feel like once people started to find ways to abuse Dockside consistently. The initial issue when Dockside first came out was that people had trouble finding ways to abuse it consistently, because you needed whatever pieces. Once people started finding consistent ways to use it, and here's the really sad part, some of the consistent ways to use Dockside Extortionists revolve around other key piece cards that don't ever get any hate, don't ever get any kind of, like, they never get targeted, they never get focused. If it gets caught in some kind of a wipe, that's fine, but, like, you never really look at it and say that thing needs to die. One of the big ones is Skirk Prospector, which is a goblin that says sacrifice the goblin, add red mana. So if you're in a deck that's playing red, you're probably going to be playing if you're playing Dockside Extortionist in your list, you're obviously playing red, but you're also probably going to throw one of your slots available in that list to Skirk Prospector. If you're also in black, like if your commander also has the ability to be in black, you're going to throw in a whole bunch of different ways to bring the Dockside back. Where it gets possible to abuse this so much is when your opponents have so much stuff in play that it's essentially net profit bringing back the Dockside from your loop with whatever your consistent reanimation ability is, as well as having the Skirk Prospector in play. I've played a number of games where I've seen people play Skirk Prospector, they already had Dockside, and people would just let it go, and then somebody would kill the thing that reanimates. The problem with the killing the thing that reanimates, usually the thing that reanimates is either a commander or has extra built-in protection, which is a problem, or is something that's really easy to get back by itself, like it has a built-in bring me back ability. So usually in those situations, nobody ever focuses the Skirk Prospector, which is what they should focus. They focus the thing that brings back the Dockside. I'm okay with Dockside being banned. It was a great card when it came out during that time frame for those pre-con decks, because it kind of made sense during that time frame. The problem has gotten that as the years have progressed, it really wasn't that long ago. It was like, what, maybe 3 years ago? I think it was about 3 years ago. 2021 time frame. Sometime in 2021, I think, is when Dockside came out with one of the commander decks. I don't know. It might have been 2020. No, I think it was 2021. I'm fairly certain it was 2021, but I might be wrong about that. But Dockside came out during a time frame where they were doing more commander stuff that related to, like, we kind of want to push the artifact theme again, or we want to push the enchantment theme again, or whatever the case was. Dockside was great because it would give decks that played red that didn't have a ton of ramp the ability to explode back into the game. Usually you were behind if you were in red. Your predominant colors that play artifacts is red, blue, white. Your predominant colors that play enchantments is blue, white, and green. So if you were in red and you were playing against either one of those or both of those, whatever the case was, but it was like you were red-black, late game Dockside would still potentially, like, especially if you were behind on lands and behind on everything else, late game Dockside Extortionist would potentially allow you to be like, oh, I have this one shot of mana to explode my hand into play and affect the game in a big way so that we can all enjoy the game to a more further, deeper extent, or whatever the case may be, instead of just, I didn't draw a land number, whatever, so I can't play one thing in my hand. Maybe everything in your hand cost 5 and you're stuck on 4 lands or something. Whatever the case is. But then, like, when they printed Dockside during that time frame, that could be the case, and you're like, cool, I'll use half my lands, play a Dockside, get 20, 30, 40 treasures, whatever the case is, play 3 or 4 cards from my hand using those treasures. And essentially just kind of like, hey guys, I'm still kind of here, I'm still kind of, in interacting with the game, I'm still able to do stuff, but it's only because Dockside gave you a temporary boost. Personally, with his ban lists, the only thing I'm really iffy about is the Mana Crypt. Everything else, I either knew it was going to get banned, Nadu totally called that, or I believed it should be banned. One or the other. Those are my personal opinions. Some of you might not like them. I understand. Just, Dockside was great, and then the competitive format got worse, and then it got to the point where Dockside was starting to see tons of, like, Dockside was starting to see become a staple for casual play. I could understand if Dockside, is a staple in competitive, because in competitive on turns 1, 2, and 3, you're typically ramping. Your ramp is either consisting of artifacts or enchantments that give you extra mana. So Dockside's useful in that situation, even if you're only getting 1 shots on your mana usage. Dockside's useful in that situation. Jeweled Lotus is great for explosive starts, but again, I don't believe it should have ever been printed. I don't believe it should have ever made it to production. I'm happy to see Jeweled Lotus on this ban list. All you people who got your Jeweled Lotuses and you were super excited about it and everything, I'm sorry. Maybe you opened it in a pack and you don't feel so bad because you didn't spend a whole bunch of money on it. Maybe you're one of those people out there who spent $400 or $500 on it. I don't know. Sorry, not sorry. Personal opinion, it should have never been put out there, but it's finally on the ban list, and I'm happy with that. Mana Crypt's the only one where I'm kind of on the fence. Like, I have reasons for it being banned. I have reasons for it not being banned. I don't particularly care one way or the other. Nadu, I never got around to building a Nadu deck because work just kind of like took up a bunch of my time, so I never got around to being able to do that. So I'm kind of sad that I never got to play a deck with Nadu. I still have my Nadu sitting somewhere in here. I'm really sad that I didn't get to play with Nadu, but at the same time, I knew Nadu was going to get banned. Personal opinion, he's too strong for casual, too weak for competitive. I don't feel like he does enough in competitive because he takes 2 or 3 other pieces. And in casual, 2 or 3 pieces in casual is basically nothing. Most 2-card things in casual usually auto win you the game, but you're not playing decks that are like, I have both pieces on turn 3. You might be playing decks that are like, I have one of the 2 pieces I need on like turn 6, and then I get the other one on like turn 10. And the first piece just managed to stay around. Or maybe you play the first piece, and then it gets destroyed, and then you get the second piece, and now you got to find a way to get back the first piece. In casual, like your 2-card combos that get you there, a lot of people know what they are. A lot of people have seen them over and over and over. If there is removal available, people will use the removal. Yeah, just... I don't know. I couldn't be any happier. Like, I'm ecstatic, believe it or not, at this ban list. I love this ban list. Little hurt over Nadu, but I knew it was going to get the ban hammer eventually. I'm amazed it stayed around as long as it did in Modern, but whatever. So yeah, I've had some people like commenting and messaging me and being like, hey, we want you to do a video talking about the ban list and your opinions. I've had some people directly message me and just be like, what are your opinions on the ban list and how do you feel, and I'm telling you right now, this is how I feel. I couldn't be any happier with the ban list as it currently stands. Or at least with the updates. Let me rephrase. At least with the updates. I know Primeval Titan's too strong, Wizards. Or, I guess at this point, not Wizards. The Rules Committee. I know Primeval Titan's too strong. Can we please get back Sylvan Primordial? I would like to see Sylvan Primordial come back. That would be great, in my opinion. There's a card I would love to see come back, but it's never going to come back. Or if it does, it'll be another 10 years before it comes back. I don't want to say what that card is because I really don't want to jinx it. I know Primetime's too strong, but I'd like to see Sylvan Primordial come back. Honestly, if they're going to ban another card, I would say... I mean, they banned the correct thing. I don't know. So, a number of years ago, it wasn't that long ago, maybe 5-6 years, I don't know, I think it was like 2018 or something, they unbanned Protean Hulk. And then for like 3 months, everything was cool. And then they banned Flash. And a lot of people got upset. And I thought to myself, why does it matter? I don't ever see anybody play Flash with any creature other than Protean Hulk. Period. I see a number of decks that would want to use a Protean Hulk but don't need to. Personally, I would say swap the two. Bring back unban Flash, ban Protean Hulk. Because once Protean Hulk was banned, I never saw anybody playing blue play Flash. Never. Nobody that I saw that was playing blue whatever that had creatures was playing Flash. There was no slot dedicated to it. Once they unbanned Protean Hulk, then there were 2 slots dedicated, one to Flash, one to Protean Hulk. So, personal opinion on that one is unban Flash, ban Protean Hulk. Just, I mean, it doesn't need to happen. That's a personal opinion. Just because that way I don't have to worry about either one of those cards. I never see one used without the other specific one, and then the other specific one can be used with a lot of other stuff. Like the Protean Hulk can still be used to get you a number of different options that get you a win. But Flash by itself, I had a number of people tell me that Flash could be used with other things to get you a win. My question always was, what are those things? Because I don't know what they are. And here's the best part. Those people that told me that, when I asked them that question, can you name me one of those things? None of them could. None of them could. So, Flash only saw play when it was around with Protean Hulk. Protean Hulk sees play without Flash, but Protean Hulk's also in green. Green players have the best mana ramp available. It's going to come out quick-ish, depending on what color combination you're playing. So, Flash card doesn't really matter. I mean, Flash lets you do it on turn 2, which is great. I just, personal opinion, swap that. And then, kind of all be hunky-dory. Anyway, this has been a Cardboard Kitchen for you. Thanks for watching if you got this far. Thank you for sticking around. Like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. If you want to try to message me, talk to me, whatever. If you don't have any way to get in touch with me directly, comment on the video. Leave me some comments. Talk, if you're wanting me to cover something specific and you want me to do it quicker than me getting to it normally, comment. Whatever the case is. I'll see you guys next time.